Hello and welcome everyone to the show. I'm JJ Flazanes, your host. Thank you for downloading today's short and sweet, hopefully inspiring episode. Happy 4th of July for those of you in the States, and happy birthday to my father, whose birthday falls on the 4th of July. And his love language is not gifts, so he doesn't care, nor is it quality time. He just wants his rhubarb pie. So hopefully my father will get his rhubarb pie today, as well as a call from his daughter telling him how wonderful he is. So I appreciate that today's show, I'm going to do something I've never done before. And it's not that I don't want to do it. It's that I want to make sure I'm doing right by all businesses and all people. I'm going to share with you one of my very favorite less than 4-minute clips from an Abraham live event that happened in San Francisco in August of 2008. Today's theme is freedom and control. As someone who has a lot of Sagittarius in me, freedom is super important to me. And as I look around at clients that I've worked with, at people that I've talked to, at the way people handle, let's say, depression or anxiety, I see a lot of misinterpretations of lack of freedom. A point of view that you think you're being controlled by somebody else. And let me tell you, I have not mastered this myself either, but I've worked it and I continue to work it. And I think I do a pretty good job most of the time. Now, this recent move of mine, I did not. For a very long time, I focused on my lack of control, the lack of control that I had over when I was going to move and that I had to do it, and just all the choices that came with the consequence of what's been happening. Now, I acknowledge that I've manifested this, and I acknowledge that I am a co-creator in this situation, which is where I allow myself to realize that I'm still free and that I created this. If I was to look at it in a situation where I didn't create it and I'm being forced, which you can have that conversation, and part of that is true, but those feelings that get generated from feeling forced are not only bad for my health, they're not going to help me manifest what I want, because I'm beating the drum of victim mentality of being a victim to circumstance. If I decide to take control of my own frequency and allow myself to tap into the fact that there's a bigger reason why this is all happening, and I focus forward on what I want and stop beating the drum of what I don't want, then I become elevated in my emotions and therefore vibration and frequency, and am more likely to move forward in positive momentum to get what I want. So today's short clip that I'm going to share with you is about control. Many times people think that to be in control is a good thing. And in some ways it is. But generally speaking, when we're talking about life in general and all of the unknown factors that go into everything, we have so little control that the illusion of control is actually stifling. It actually creates depression. It creates anxiety, and it is an addictive behavioral pattern that keeps you stuck. Having control or thinking you have control over anyone else's anything, over anyone else's point of attraction, over anyone else's consequences, over anyone else's actions and behaviors and thoughts and beliefs. And again, I have not completely mastered this. I have used this as my own lessons throughout my lifetime, especially in the last 10 years. So I'm going to share this with you because I want to make sure that in order for you to feel free, that you understand you have to let go of control. You can't have control and feel free. They do not mix. If you believe in something higher than yourself, if you believe in God or universe or source or creator, whomever, there's a certain amount of surrender that needs to happen to understand you didn't put this all together. You did put a lot of it together before you came here, so you've designed this, but you're co-creating with the universe at every level. You're co-creating with law of attraction at every level, and you at any point in time can change your point of focus to get more of what it is that you want. On that note, just want to remind you that you have a little over a week left to get a ticket for the October Manifestation Boot Camp, October 11th through the 13th. The tickets go up in price on July 15th. And these are practical ways, right? You can hear all this stuff all the time through my podcast, through listening to Abraham on YouTube, or even going to a live event. And there is value in doing that. I appreciate a lot of you who have written in and told me how much the show's changed your life, and I've never worked with you and I've never met you. And that's awesome. This is why I do it. But we want to move to the next level, many of us, who want to pattern interrupt, want to release some of these blocked energies that keep you repeating these patterns over and over again. Being able to understand something on a different level, a different cellular level, having a different experience with it. For that reason, I will always have 2 to 3 live events a year, because I want to bring you into a room together to know the power collectively that we all have to make a difference, to influence others while we are bettering ourselves. This isn't about becoming completely selfish in the way of ignoring others. This is the higher frequency you maintain, the more you inspire other people. When people can see the example you are setting in the ways that you are creating magic in your life, the more good you're going to do on the planet. There are enough people doing step 1 processes of worrying about stuff, who are creating problems and complaining about what isn't right. And in order for us to help anyone change that, we have to be part of the solution, not the problem. We need to hold a higher vibration and frequency and hold the space and the vision and focus forward on the solution, not be a part of the problem. So with that said, I hope today you find freedom in some aspect of your life. I hope that you can change the way that you think about things in your life to find the freedom. That's why I call myself an empowerment strategist. I believe many people who are dealing with depression and anxiety and control issues have looked at something in a way that takes away their freedom, not gives them freedom. And wherever you are on the spectrum of trusting Source and trusting Creator and God and your time on this planet, there are ways to shift your perspective in order to feel free in any situation you're in. So happy 4th of July. Remember, you have a little over a week to get your ticket, jjflazanes.com/bootcamp. And I hope you enjoy this audio clip. If you want more, go to abraham-hicks.com to learn more about them. You can also go to YouTube and type in Abraham Hicks and any topic you want. And people have posted for years and years and years different audio clips from live events that are very helpful to many people. I hope you enjoy a great holiday.
Around that subject of control and giving it up, and we've talked about it a little bit, that for most of you, you don't give up control until you have no choice. And then when you finally give it up, you feel better. But most of you don't give up action control until you have no choice. And so Jerry was reading the description on Wikipedia about law of attraction, and it was just a jumbled mess. And so he started with the first person that he could find that ever spoke it and defined it from that vantage point, and then the next, and then the next, and put a very nice chronological and documentable description of it all, and then brought it to the point of when Jerry and Esther met Abraham, did not talk about Abraham, but talked about the information that has been written and the definitions that have been given in the books from Esther Hicks, because there is much definitive description now that wasn't there before. And the movement that is percolating about it now is bouncing off of this framework now. So he described it all, and immediately the reply was, whoever it is that is the current arbitrator said, there is no place on this Wikipedia Law of Attraction website for Esther Hicks. We are removing her from this. And Esther said, if it were not for Esther Hicks, there would be no discussion of law of attraction happening at all right now. It was not being talked about. It was an issue that was so long dead, Esther had never even heard the words. In other words, conceptually maybe, but not anything happening. And then Esther began to laugh. She said, controlling Wikipedia is like trying to control religion. It's like trying to control politics. It's like trying to control anything. It is pointless to try to control mass consciousness. And there was this huge relief that washed over her. In other words, the feeling that I have to make them understand, the feeling that I have to keep it clean, the feeling that I have to keep it from being distorted, the feeling that I have to protect it in some way, that feeling was binding. And the idea that I let it go was completely one of relief. And we have to say, the only reason she came to that point is because it is uncontrollable. So we would like you to look at everything like that. In other words, why not exaggerate whatever you are trying to control to the extent that you accept early on it's uncontrollable. It's uncontrollable. My children's behavior is uncontrollable. Give yourself and them a new zest for life. My employees are uncontrollable. My employer is uncontrollable. My government is out of control. My government is uncontrollable. I give up. I give up control. And in doing so, you will free yourself from the resistance. And when you free yourself from the resistance, all of that contrasting experience that has caused you to put so much in your vibrational escrow now has to come to you. Isn't it interesting that when you stop trying to do what you so much thought you needed to do, then the universe helps you do it? So nice to know. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely.